Hello, hello. How you guys doing? Good, I hope. You guys having a good day, or whatever time it is for you? Nighttime here. Morning for some. Good morning. Cool, cool. So tonight I'm gonna be doing something for fun. Kind of been working on some other stuff like for work, stuff like that. So I'm gonna take a little break to draw something I want to draw, and I feel like drawing the eight-limbed girl that I've drawn a couple times recently. She's not a character like for anything or anything like that. I just randomly started drawing her, and I really like her, so I'm just gonna draw her and do something totally self-indulgent to take a break. Take a break from what I've been doing, and then once I'm done with this, I'm gonna get back to it. Thank you. Somebody asked if I have advice for oil painting. I do not oil paint at all, so I cannot help you there. Not my thing. I've only done it like once. I don't have the patience or the space for it. So, can't help you there. Sorry. Yeah, and I said it's mildly not safe for work just because there's gonna be, just because there's breasts. There's nothing else. I personally don't really consider that to be not safe for work, but I know, like if you're at work and watching this, your boss or whoever might think otherwise. So I put that warning there, just so you're aware. I don't really draw a lot of like really in-depth like pornographic content. I always kind of wanted to. Never really had a good excuse to do it. Mostly because it would be obviously stuff that I do in my free time, and the little free time I have is going towards comics. But who knows? I've been thinking for some time about doing like a small like book of like just smut, some racy stuff, just for fun. But I don't know, if I get some more free time, maybe we'll see. It's a possibility. Because I like drawing it. It's fun to draw. Like I'm human. I don't know. Like that stuff appeals to me. I'm using the same pen that I used last night. I'm using the high-tech C mica. Just because it's a fun pen to use, and I've been enjoying it, so I'm gonna stick with it. I'll probably be drawing with this for pretty regularly, actually. I bought a bunch of them, so I'll be using them for a while. I just love the line quality of these pens. And they're so smooth. It's a really nice drawing experience. Yeah, and like I don't really paint. I mean, I watercolor occasionally, and even then, that's pretty seldom compared to how often I draw in just regular ink. So yeah, I can't really give a lot of advice as far as painting is concerned. It's just not my area of expertise. And I don't have the patience for painting. Like if I generally spend like more than an hour on something, I start to get impatient. And I don't know if that's just, short attention span. It's probably all it is, but kind of have to work with that. And it means I alternate projects a lot. Like, if I take on commissions and stuff, I usually warn people that I have a semi-long turnaround time, just because I take on a lot of stuff all at once and work on it bit by bit. Because that's how I work best. And like some people may be annoyed by that for whatever reason, that it takes me longer to do their commission, and like I've never had anybody actually complain. I think the worst I've gotten is somebody has mentioned that, like, oh, is it done yet? I'm just curious, and they're very nice, but saying like, oh, you post a lot of other drawings, and like, why isn't my commission done? And that's like, I can see why people would think that, like, oh, he's drawing other stuff, why isn't he working on something I've paid for? Well, like, for one, I have a different situation. Like, I'm not at my desk all day. It's I'm a stay-at-home dad during the day, so the only drawing time I get during the day, if I get any, is time when I'm still watching my son. So if he's outside playing and like doing his own thing, then pardon me, then sometimes I can like pull out my sketchbook and get a little sketch in. But that's like, I can't carry a larger commission around and like work on that. So if your commission's not getting done and I'm posting sketches, it's because I'm able to work on the sketches, but I'm not able to work on your commission. Like, a sketchbook is very portable, whereas a large sheet of paper that's not attached to anything isn't at all. I can see why people ask that, because if it was a situation where I was just at my desk all day, then why am I sketching random stuff or working on other projects instead of working on their commission? But you also got to think of, from an artist perspective, artists, the way they work is like the way they work. You can't really question that. And so, like, if an artist has to take some time to like warm up before they work on their commission, like, you have to see that as a positive thing, because basically what the artist is doing is practicing and getting all the kinks out before they work on a commission. That's what I do anyway. And if I jumped right into the commission would be lower quality than if I warmed up first. So I can understand that may not be the first thought that crosses somebody's mind when they're wondering if their piece that they paid for is done. But it's something you got to think about. That artists aren't just, we're not just a wrist. Like, it's for some people it's a very fragile process of being able to like get the time to sit down and work, and like getting in the zone, and being in the mood to draw in general. It's not always the easiest thing. So I always get slightly offended at first if somebody says something like that to me, and then I step back for a second and think, well, if they're not used to it, it's a valid thought process. And I explain it in the nicest possible terms that I can. But I don't know. That was just a mini rant. That wasn't even anything that happened recently. I feel like I just like unloaded on you guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, 8-limbed girl, super fun to draw. Super fun to draw. Like crazy anatomy like that. And I like have no idea how this like hip would work, where she's got like 2 legs on each side that are kind of like positioned in very strange ways. I don't care. Sometimes you just gotta draw something. Like, it's good. You can argue both sides. Like, it's good to think about the logistics of something and think about how something would actually work and draw it in a way that would actually work, because then it adds a level of tangibility to your drawing. Like, if you're drawing like mechanical stuff, taking reference from actual mechanical stuff is a really smart idea, because it'll make it look like it's plausible, like, and that's a really good thing. And then sometimes on the opposite, like this whole like 4-legged situation, is like totally crazy, and like I have no idea how that would actually work, and I didn't really spend any time trying to figure out how that would actually work, but drawing it in a way that, you know, it looks like it makes sense, even if it's like breaking the laws of physics or whatever, is also totally fine. At least I think so. In the end, it's about making it look good and be fun to look at. I think it's pretty obvious if you scroll through my Instagram that, or any of my social media, that I do in fact enjoy drawing girls much more than drawing guys. I don't know how you got the math for 3 of them. Well, I mean, I guess if you're thinking about vajimbos, that's a new one. That's funny, vajimbos. I don't know. I guess if you're thinking in that sense about how many like creases there are, like crevices between the legs, in my head, and I mean, I guess I designed this character. She'd still only have one, because there'd be no point for any. There's really no point for any creature to have more than one. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm totally wrong. And if I am, link me the Wikipedia article. I'd like to read about that. I know some animals have like 2 penises, but still don't know what the advantage of that is. Like, I don't know, like just in case you have like bad aim or something. So I think she'd still just have one. And if we're going for kind of like the spider aesthetic, like she'd probably have like an ovipositor type situation going on, or something like that. I don't know how spider vajimbos work, really. I like spiders a lot, know a lot about spiders, don't know a ton about their reproductive situation. Oh, okay. Earwigs have disposable genitals. That's cool. Just in case, I mean that's fine. I mean, like, takes up extra space and stuff. Which, if you're an earwig, like, you know, that's cool. But like, I guess it's a good insurance policy in case one of your things breaks off, which is kind of like a horrifying descriptor for that event. But yeah, I mean, good for earwigs then, I guess. You can get a little bit more freaky with it. Take some more risks. I might have to write in. I might write in a reference to that in my comic book, just because there's so many bug characters, and I might have to like just reference that, just because it's like too good. Just like a one line is about like how they're like freaky in the sack or something. Yeah. Yeah, octopus is pretty cool. Octopi. Pretty fascinating animals. Yeah. See, I definitely like drawing females more. I think just because like I'm a dude, I kind of like know what that's all about. Um, it's more interesting to draw. More interesting for me to draw stuff that I'm not directly familiar with. I don't know, and it's like regardless of the reasoning, I just enjoy it more, and that's enough reason for me. So. I mean, I've said it before, and like I feel like if I were to have a headstone, You could, and if you somehow miraculously got put in charge of what would go on it, you could just say, here lies Merrick Draki, who did what he wanted. Because I always say that. It's like, I just do what I want, man. Like, I ain't got time to mess around. Like, I'm just gonna do what I want. Life's too short to not do what you want, guys. Take that in whatever context you will. As long as you're not hurting anybody. Like, if you want to, like, murder people, like, that's not cool. That's just rude. But if you're into earwig genitals, then that's your thing. Like, why deny it? Yeah, there's probably going to be some Band-Aid action going on with A-Limb Girl here. Also, if you have suggestions, because she's kind of like, I don't know, like, I don't really do the OC thing, original character thing, but I do have characters that recur that I don't necessarily use for anything. But if you have, I mean, just out of curiosity, like, if you have suggestions for, like, a name for her or anything like that, something semi-serious, ideally, yeah, suggest it. Because she could use a name. She's a lot of fun to draw. And even if it's just like, the kind of like the creature that I draw, to give her a name. If I draw with different like clothes and hairstyles and stuff, then that's cool. Bonus points for any like reference to arachnids or spiders or anything, without like straight up calling her like Arachne or something. Like, that's too easy. Come on. And like, she's not like really a spider. Like, she has some spider aesthetic to her. Like, obviously with 8 limbs, but if I was really gonna make her like a spider girl, like, I would probably give her more of like a chitinous look, like, rather than skin. I'd probably give her like segmented legs and stuff, and actually give her mandibles and 8 eyes. So she's kind of just, she's not a spider girl really. She's an 8-limbed girl. That's why I refer to her that way. Like, you better believe if I make an actual spider girl, like, she's gonna be a spider. Look at her. She's winking. She's winking at you. And she's got like eyebrows too. Like, spiders don't have eyebrows. I mean, not really. And these things on her head aren't really like horns. They're kind of meant to be like feelers. They're kind of like sensory organs, I guess, like rather than ears, because you can tell she doesn't have ears. And that's kind of like a spidery characteristic, I guess. What's my favorite part of a girl to draw? Surprisingly, well, none of the dirty parts. And they're not dirty parts. I don't want to like make it seem like any part of the body is like unclean, because I disagree with that sentiment. But I actually really like drawing arms. And drawing like feminine arms is like really fun, because like, I mean, either gender can have, like slender arms or, beefier arms, but like kind of the way, I don't know, like, I just draw like shoulders, because like you don't see a lot of, poses with males where they're like putting their shoulder up like that. Like, I don't know, I just like that pose, and I think it works more for females. I just really like drawing arms. Also, butts. Butts are fun to draw. But man, like, I don't know, like, I feel like while I'm on topic, I might as well talk about some of that. Like, I don't know, like, I'm sure many of you are aware of that whole, like, free the nipple movement or whatever. And, I kind of, like, I've always kind of felt that, the female body like shouldn't be any more sexualized than the male body when it comes to, you know, breasts and nipples, because like even like dudes can have breasts, you know, like that's not out of the question. Like it's just like the construct of how we look at it that makes it dirty. It's not the actual body itself, you know. It's the fact that it's been sexualized in the media and, you know, in movies and stuff like that to be something that is considered sexual when really it shouldn't be. And, you know, as much as there really ought to be an even playing field, like it's hard when something's been driven home for so long in society, in media and stuff like that. It's hard to kind of like undo that conditioning, which is really unfortunate, because that's really where the issue lies, is the conditioning. Is even if, you know, like tomorrow it was like suddenly, you know, okay for women to be topless in public and not be considered like a sexual thing, then people would still have that kind of like mental conditioning that's been present our whole lives to think that, you know, the female breast and nipple is a sexual thing. Like you can't undo that, unfortunately. Like you can approach it with an open mind, but that conditioning is still going to be there, and it's not something that you know is like I'm not trying to argue that, like, you know, you can't help it, because you totally can, but my point being is that, you know, people's perspective, people's viewpoints aren't going to change just because laws do. Does that make sense? Like people are the ones, are where the problem lies, not the law. Like, unfortunately, since we're all human and humans make the laws are just an enforcement of certain people's viewpoints, which is kind of silly when you think about it in that way. It makes it kind of just seem really dumb, which it kind of is. I mean, there's certain, you know, their laws are there for a reason, and most of them are for, you know, to keep order and to protect people, but some of them are kind of silly, or are enforcing ideologies that are outdated or, you know, potentially inappropriate or demeaning to certain people. I just say that, like, you know, going back to my previous point, like, you should do what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. I think that's the rule, or it should be anyway. If I were president, would probably not get anything done because of Congress. Even if I had radical viewpoints and wanted to change a lot of stuff. Okay, that got a little out of hand, but I always had this like crazy thought, and like this is totally like, I don't know, sorry if it's like inoffensive or inappropriate, like I'm just kind of like leaking what's in my head like out into the stream right now. I always had this like crazy thought of like, what if somebody like got elected president, and like their whole campaign, they, you know, had all these ideas and stuff, and got elected president with the sole purpose of like killing themselves as soon as they got elected and like put into office, just to have like a certain effect, or to like challenge people's like perspective or something. Like I don't know, like I just have this like crazy thought, and that's really all there is to that. But like, I don't know what would happen. Wouldn't that be weird? Not that that would ever happen. That's totally crazy. But this has been What If with Merrick Jaraki, where I say something ridiculous and don't bother to explain it or elaborate. Like, wouldn't that be crazy? I don't know. That'd be crazy. Like something crazy and dramatic. Like, my first act as president is to challenge you to think whether or not you actually need a president. Like, challenge your views on the government we've constructed in this country. Some totally like wackadoodle like that. Could be an interesting like short film. if anybody's like a filmmaker or anything like that, or like wants to write a short story about it, like use that idea, go ahead. I'm obviously not going to do anything with it. But it'd be interesting to see that concept elaborated. I mean, I don't know, like, because it would have a crazy effect on the vice president too, because the vice president would become president, and even if they wouldn't necessarily, like, be geared up to do the same thing, because I know there's a hierarchy, and it's never happened, obviously, that a president, has needed to be replaced, and then the vice president has also needed to be replaced, but there is a protocol in place for that type of situation, just in case that happens, God forbid. But, like, it would obviously make the vice president think differently too. So like maybe, I don't know if that would be part of the plan. I don't know. Like I'm probably, digging too deep now to try to elaborate or make it make sense. It might be a little too difficult for me. I don't know. I'm just drawing. I just draw spider girls. I don't. That's all. That's just what I do. I should stick to my area of expertise. Right. I always find it funny when I spend more time like scribbling all of these little textures in than actually drawing the figure. And probably not more time, but a good amount of time in comparison. I don't know, it may not seem like much, but I really like the texture. See me almost drop the pen there? Oh, and going back to last night, like, this random thing I thought about that it actually was just reminded of when I almost dropped my pen, that one of the reasons I like rollerball pens over, like, the felt tip pens is if you drop the pen and it slides across the paper, like, it's much less likely to leave a mark if it slides. You see, I can, like, at an angle, move it across the paper and it doesn't do anything. So if you drop your pen, it's, like, less likely to make a mark than a felt tip, whereas a felt tip, if you dragged it, would make a mark. Just a random thing I thought about that I was like, oh, I should have mentioned that, like, so I'm mentioning it now. That's how I roll. I never remember things when they're pertinent and important. I always remember them later when it doesn't really matter. I know that's just like a super random thing. But I noticed that one day that I dropped my pen and I was like, oh crap, because I was working on like a commission. I thought I made like a big line across it, and I didn't. And then like an idiot, I proceeded to like move my pen across the paper like that to see if it would keep happening, because obviously, if it did happen, then I would have ruined the piece. It's like stupid. Why did I do that? And like some fountain pens too. Fountain pens are a little bit more likely to make a mark, but still less likely than a felt tip. Because with felt tip, the ink channel encompasses like a 360-degree area around the tip of the pen, just because of the nature of how felt tips or porous tips work. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just drawing plants, guys. That's cool. Oh yeah, I guess I could, the texture, with like the pen texture, I guess I could kind of consider that like one of my habits, as I was referring to. That was something I was talking about last night, that like style is kind of just, is a really nebulous concept when it comes to like your personal style. I think style is a collection of your habits. What pens you like to use, the way you like to draw certain things. Yeah, quirks. Quirks are habits that kind of make the way you draw unique. Even if you have some of the same quirks as other artists, that's fine, because you have them in different combinations with other quirks. Because like there are some other artists that do kind of like these scribble fills like this. Loic Locatelli, namely, is an artist that I follow on Tumblr. Loic, Loic, Locatelli, Locateli, I believe. Uses a really fine pen. Sorry, I'm like drawing on the corner there. And like scribbles to fill in areas. Yes, and the Ashley Wood does it too. But they use different pens. Locatelli works digitally, or I think uses ballpoint or graphite and does the same thing. So doing the same thing as other artists can get a different effect even just by using a different medium. So like, I don't know, like don't be concerned about whether or not you do the same thing as other artists, because it's okay as long as you're not straight up copying them. There's something about that like 2-eye wink that's like really it just like makes me happy when I look at it. Super fun to draw. The stuff you like to draw is the most fun stuff to draw. There was a point where I like didn't want to draw anthropomorphic characters because I was worried of like what people would think, and that was so stupid. I was worried like, what if people think I'm a furry or stuff like that? It doesn't fucking matter. Like I like drawing it so much now. I just like want to go back in time and like kick myself for ever thinking that shit. Like, drawing anthropomorphic characters is fun. I like it. I don't care if you think I'm a furry. I'm not. I just like to draw it. But given the opportunity to, like, be able to shapeshift into an animal, I would totally do it. I was going to do something else. I'm forgetting now. Band-aids. How could I forget? Dang. I mean, not fuck everybody else, because like that, most people are pretty cool, and just saying fuck them is like kind of rude, but screw what they think. What people think is not important. At least it shouldn't be. Yeah, I am drawing a spiral sketchbook. I know, that's funny you notice that, because I did talk about how much I hate them, and I do. It's already starting to bug me, seriously, but I wanted to try this sketchbook. It's a Canson. Normally I use Stillman and Byrne, but I wanted to try this one, just because I had, when I needed a new sketchbook, I was like kind of low on money, but I had a 50% off coupon from Michaels, and they don't carry the sketchbook that I normally get, so I was like, I'll try something new, just for the sake of trying something new, and because like if I don't have a sketchbook to work in, like I will slowly go crazy. It drives me nuts if I don't have a sketchbook, even if I don't draw on it for any reason. Like just not having one is enough to slowly drive me insane. So I'm trying this Canson sketchbook. I actually really like the paper, but it was the only one that had like a weight of paper that I like. I need like close to 90-pound paper, because I don't like when I draw something and draw on the other side, because I like to draw on the front and the back, so I don't like being able to see my drawing through the paper. And the only one they had was a spiral, so that's what I'm doing. I'm trying it. I'm going against what I'd normally do and trying something new. And I hate the spirals, but I actually really like the paper. Yeah. It's not so bad. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't think I'm gonna do much more with this, just because it's a for fun drawing. I'll erase all the pencil and stuff a little bit after the stream once the ink is totally dry. Because this ink, like, I can't smudge it with my hand, but using an eraser, like, you usually want to give it like 10 or 15 minutes to dry. Just because some of like the darker points will like smear a little bit if you use the eraser on it directly after. So it's good to give it a little time to sit and relax. But I'll take the time to drop my usual links. I know most of you, quite a few of you, I recognize you guys. I recognize you by your usernames and stuff. I know when you're like returning to the stream, so you probably have already seen most of these. But for those of you who haven't, my Patreon, which is you can go and support me monthly, kind of like a ongoing Kickstarter type thing, to support my personal projects, comics and stuff. Gumroad.com/sharkbaby is my digital store. You can go there to buy my goods. There's going to be some more stuff coming soon down the pipeline. Digital art books, I have one short comic there you can buy. And then my YouTube channel, Merrick Jaraki, I upload all the recordings of my Periscope streams once they're done, in case you missed part of it or want to go back and watch it for any reason. And also, if you want to buy something off of my Gumroad and use Periscope and as a purchase code, you can get $1 off. Pretty sure that's how it works. I still haven't tried it myself to verify. But there's the 8-limbed girl. And if you do have ideas for a name for her, or a name for her, I don't know. If you have any ideas, I'll be posting this on like Instagram and Twitter, so, or Tumblr even. If you go on any of those and comment with ideas you have, then that's probably most likely to see them. Kelly's good. I like Kelly. Kelly's a good name. Maybe. I'll kind of compile a list and see what I like. Maybe I'll have more than one, and have different names for them. It would be fun to make a story with them where there's like no males left of their species because they eat all of them, like kind of like certain spiders do. They eat all the males after they mate with them. So there's like a limited number of them. I don't know. Just spitballing. Never know. Could be fun for like a short comic or something like that. Never know. If you guys show enough love, maybe I'll think about it. So that's that's the stream for tonight. I was thinking about what else I was gonna say, but there's really not much else to say, other than I love you guys. Thanks for stopping by. I always have a great time, and love drawing for you guys. I know I've been doing some shorter streams, and it's just because like I have a lot of larger stuff that I'm working on that I can't necessarily stream. So I'm trying to do some shorter ones just to be able to stream for you guys and do some more fun stuff rather than looking at big, boring, slow stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys had a good time. I certainly did, and thank you for coming by. I really appreciate it. Every little bit of support counts, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate all you guys, and yeah, I wouldn't be doing what I was doing if it wasn't for you. So thanks again. Thank you one more time, and I hope you guys have a great night or morning or afternoon or evening, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.